This is like sensory overload for you.
All right, so believe it or not, this is my first real track event. Even though I've had the RS for quite some time, I've never really taken it out to any of the track events. Danny said, hey, you know, all the RMC cars are going and it's a big event for DRT. And he said, are you gonna bring out the yellow car? I mean, the yellow car is built for the track. And I said, well, I'll go out there, you know, I'll take it out a little bit, why not? And oh man, was this a movie. You know, for being a track event, it's a movie. First off, I don't have any experience. And I also don't want to act like I'm fast and I know what I'm doing, you know. Most importantly, you want to be safe. And more than anything, I'm not even worried about getting hurt so much. I'm worried about destroying my car. Great venue set up at Homestead Speed by the guys at DRT, so they set this whole event up. And, you know, I went out there first and I did, okay, let's do the first thing, which is the lead and follow, which is pretty much you're driving behind, you know, it's a line of cars following the track, almost like a fast parade. It's actually not a bad thing because you kind of get to remember the track or learn it if you don't know it. The only thing I felt about that lead and follow is that sometimes when you're driving kind of fast and you're gonna all of a sudden brake, there's like way too much traffic. I thought maybe it's better to go on a session where there's more experienced drivers so that way, you know, when you get to these stops or these corners, there's not traffic. I felt like that was the biggest fear was every time I looked forward, I had cars in front of me that I had to stop. It never was like a clean area. So, you know, for the start, that already kind of warmed it up, you know, see how the car rides, which it rides great. The helmet that they gave me there that I rented was horrible. It was way too small and was squeezing my head. Note to self, buy any helmet so that next time I don't have to go through that again. So then later on, when finally several sessions went by, because it's a bunch of them, we did a session where it was the novice and intermediate. I mean, I'm calling bull. Honestly, I think half of those people in intermediate should have been in advanced. I just don't think they wanted to run in the advanced category because the GT4 RSs, are about 8 of them out there, were just slaying everybody. I also find it kind of weird when you mix up novice with intermediate. I mean, some of these intermediate guys were wild. For them to let me go out there and go to intermediate, they said, you need to go out there with an instructor. They gave me an instructor. I thought to myself, well, this is gonna be good. I get somebody that actually knows what they're doing sitting next to me and can instruct me. God, was I wrong. I pretty much sat there for 7 laps with the guy doing nothing and saying nothing. When we got back to the pits, I even looked at him and was like, are you gonna say anything? Because he said nothing. Gave me no instruction. It was quite frankly one of the most scariest moments of my life because there was so many cars driving by. I'm like either gonna hit somebody or cause an accident because there was too much traffic. Then finally later on at the last intermediate novice session of the entire track event, I got to go out with Danny and RMC since he built the car and he knows these cars because he has one himself that he tracks. He's got a lot more track time experience. What we did is I went as passenger, he went as driver. We put in 10 hardcore laps so he can kind of show me the line. And most importantly, he said, I want to show you what the car is capable. That way you know where the limits are and know that you could push it so much more without having any fear or danger. And let me tell you something, unbelievable what that tin can do in the track. I mean, honestly, I was shocked. I never thought that a car so analog could do so well on the track. It was insane. That was an incredible moment. At one point there, I had to wake him up because he was like way too locked in the zone. Like, hey, we're trying to drive this home today, so don't wreck it. Then we switched. I was able to put in a good 10 laps where he instructed me way better, and it was actually a really good experience. And at that moment, that's when I really said, all right, finally, I got to get some experience. It was safe, and it was great. So overall, for my first track event ever, I think it was great because you get to hang out all day, you get to see all these other cars, see everybody just ripping it and redlining their cars, so I thought it was great. Will I go to another one? Yes, I probably will take the car again. you know, that yellow car is not something that I want to take out there and just abuse it all the time. Sorry, I work hard for my money. I love my stuff. I don't want to break them. So, you know, I might go out there a couple more times, but it's not something I'm looking to go out there and really just run the car into a meat grinder. That's not my intentions. But overall, I'm so glad I went out there, and the DRT track event was great. All right, so we're here at DRT 2024. It's the biggest Porsche event in the southeast of the whole year. And one of the first highlights that we had to see is this 1984 962 Coca-Cola historic race car. This right here is actually one of my favorite cars in the show. Number one, because it's a real factory 930 race car, but it has no livery nowhere. So it's just plain white, which is really hard to find. It has a full restoration, and of course, anything right now that's in this room is over $1 million. Doesn't look like much, but yes, this is $1 million factory built race car. You would order it from Porsche and you'd get it just like this, ready to compete. This one right here is one of the highlights that I like in the entire show because it's an original GT2 Club Sport race car. So as you look at it, it has been raced. You see all the rock chips right there, the gutted interior, which I like, and the fire system. I mean, this is grail for me. Here we have one of my favorite cars of the entire show, the Shootout Big Winner, which is the Singer DLS, which stands for Dynamic and Lightweight Studies. The amount of research and development in this car is out of control. It has all of the Porsche gods that have come together to build this animal of a car. Quick before the song. The engine alone on this car is probably about $500,000. To buy this car right now, you're gonna need at least $3 million to get one, and that's even if you can get one. This Gunther Works is sick. I mean, Speedster, exposed carbon fiber with that full combination with the red interior. I mean, how can you possibly spec out one any nicer? This ruby color 964 RS is sick. I mean, that color, first of all, big money. Number two, RS 964. Now, I'm not an expert in this level right here, but if I had to guess, I would say something like this is gonna cost you $300, maybe even more. Available right now at my boys at Zweck. All right, so the guys at Zweck also have this 997 GT3 right here. And let me tell you something, lately, more and more I'm liking these cars. I feel that really right now is a good time to buy these because you get them at a good price. And it's a lot of car. And the more I look at it, the more I feel that the body is like perfection. Wow. So we're here with Victor Gomez at Roof North America. How you doing, Victor?
How's it going, Eric? Good to be
man.
here.
Good. I want you to tell us real quick, what are the highlights of this SCR? What makes this thing so great, which we already know it is, but what are the highlights?
Yeah, so this is a brand new 2022 Roof SCR. So this is our new carbon monocoque. 100% made by Roof.
Wow. And what does it weigh?
It weighs 1,300 kilos. So
1,300
very
kilos.
light. It's a rocket ship.
Wow. And what's the horsepower on it?
500. It has a 4-liter NA engine.
What's the red line?
Red line, 8,500.
Wow. So pretty much this thing is a rocket ship. It has the styling of a classic Porsche, but there's nothing about this car that is a classic. It's all new racing technology, and pretty much that's why I call it the end of the world when it comes to classic Porsches.
Exactly, yeah. It has all the lines and DNAs that we all love from Porsche, but it's 100% made by Roof.
Yeah, he says it has, it's built carbon fiber monocoque, which pretty much the entire chassis, all of this right here, is the main part of the car, then everything else gets put on top. And it's got an integrated roll cage, which you can't even see, which is quite amazing, because as much as I love a racing looking car, this is not that. This is beyond that. This is already ultra high luxury, like a hyper Porsche, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you again very much for giving me the pleasure to be able to sit inside of the car and see it. I almost don't even want to touch the floor because it's so nice and brand new.
Let's go for a drive.
Anytime, yes. All right, so we're here with Danny Lima from RMC Miami, and for those of you that don't know, that new yellow 993 that I have, I bought it from him. He's the one that made it happen, and for that, I thank him. But here we have a pretty special car here that I've been eyeballing for about 2 weeks. Danny, tell us what's so special about this gray Ghost sitting right behind us.
So they took up essentially they would race HSR, which is a historic racing series, and they turned a race car into a street car. Took a little bit of compression out of it so you could run it on pump gas, put a carpet kit in it, but it's essentially a race car for the street. Weighs 2,200 pounds, makes 350 horsepower. You got to know how to drive. This isn't for an entry-level enthusiast, you know, and it's not $1 million car, but it's a car that's a lot of fun and is ready to go to war. You know,
Wow. So pretty much, like you said, they detuned it. So it's a full-blown race car that they actually detuned it
Right.
so you could drive the street.
They took the suspension, the race suspension out of it. They put a little bit more street suspension in it, a little bit, you know,
Pretty much
street
the
pad.
complete opposite of what everybody else is doing. They're trying to go from street to race, and
Yeah.
this is actually so race.
It was so
It's
race
got-
that they had to
Yeah.
turn it down a little bit.
Is that
so.
why it has plastic windshield? Everything around is
Everything.
plastic?
Yeah, Lexan is always the move. It's about 200 pounds in glass just by removing all of it. From even the front windows, Lexan.
Show us a little bit of the inside. Let's see
Yeah.
what it looks like. I noticed it's like a full-blown race car, which is kind of what I liked about it. It just meant like
I mean, this
all
is,
business.
you know, the deeper you get into these cars, the more you want them to be like even more radical. You know?
Yeah.
And this is not for, like I said, this isn't an entry level like hot rod. This is for somebody who owns multiple hot rods and wants to get like a insane experience. You know, this is a built 915. It's not a G50. A G50 is a easier transmission to drive. It's a more consumer friendly. A 915, they're good boxes if you know how to drive them right. You know how to upshift, downshift properly. You know how to rev match. You'll find the sweet spot, and it's a very rewarding transmission if you do it right.
Open it up for us. Show
Yeah.
us how it looks in the front. I mean, it looked earlier. I saw it. It looks.
It's a little dirty because we drove it at DRT. You know, we
Yeah.
did
but
a few
that's
fun
the
laps
look
in
for
it.
a car
you
like
know?
this.
Exactly.
And then another thing is for it being a race car, born a race car, pretty
Yeah.
much. It's very clean. Everything's very neat and tidied up. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not like
Well, it wasn't a shitty race car, you know. So there's cars, there's all sorts of race cars. You know, there's cars that get mistreated and get wrecked, and you know, or maybe more budget-friendly race cars. Racing a 911 is not really a budget-friendly race car.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't buy this car because it's the best bang for the buck. You buy it because it's the best experience for the money.
Got
So you know, you take care of it differently. And you could tell just the way the cage is tied into the shock towers and stuff. The car is pretty hardcore. This isn't like a normal HPDE like track day car. So this was, you know, this is something that qualifies for HSR now. So if you wanted to go race it and go have some fun with it, you could definitely do that.
So this is the part that actually freaked me out the most, is I realized that it's actual freaking plastic. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen too many of the cars that you have, and you usually have a lot of real deal race cars that are like
front
this.
Lexan is wild, but you know,
Right?
hardcore
Crazy.
racing, you'll blow out the windshield before you blow out the Lexan. You know,
Got it.
When you're a lot of rocks, a lot of debris from the track. Instead, this is easier to replace on the fly, and it'll take more of a beating. To be honest with you.
Show us the engine. What does it look like?
Yeah.
I love the color. Was the car raced this color, or they painted it
No,
later
the car's
on?
painted. It used to be red, so it's an all.
Okay.
It's called the IROC look.
Got it.
So the
Got it.
The fenders, the
Got it.
bumpers.
So they converted a race
This is
car
an IROC wing, right? So they converted an old school race car.
into more of a
They
street.
completely restored
car.
the car, but it was a good chassis. You know, so this is a Peter Dawes 3.3 short stroke motor. So they start with a 964 3.6 liter engine, and they put a 3 liter crank.
Wow.
So the car loses a little bit of torque, but it's got more of a power band, and it spins 1,000 more RPM.
Loses a little bit of torque. I feel every time I see you drive it, it gets loose in the back.
Yeah, the car blows the tire. First, second gear. I mean, it's a super fast car. It's got street tires on it. With slicks, it wouldn't do that, but
Yeah.
with these tires, it's a lot of fun. It just makes it, you know, makes it much more fun.
My new 993 that I actually got from Danny. This is a car that Danny's been working on for quite some time, and I was actually eyeballing it for a little while. Danny, tell us what makes this car special and why I decided to buy it. You know it better than me.
So 3 years ago, he saw it and he found love. And then
That's true.
the process started. So it's a Speed Yellow C2. It's got a Proto Tech, which is it's a twin turbo kit from non-turbo to turbo. It's got turbo brakes, good suspension, roll cage, and a couple of tricks throughout. Makes it a really fun kind of track day street car with AC, and you know, you can drive it to the track, drive it home, and it'll still keep up with a lot of new 911s. Being it makes about 450 horsepower, but it's pretty light as well. So you can keep up with GT cars and stuff like that and have some fun. But much more connection and a little funner to drive.
You guys did the wide body, you know, the wheels,
Yeah.
all of that. Those are not just regular wheels that go on there.
Those are the wheels actually that came off of my personal car, which is a very similar setup, same body kit. So they're Kinesis Super Cup Alessios. We had them relipped previously on my car, and other man, we just did the kit and did a couple of tricks. Did a pretty cool exhaust. We had our fab guy do that, and just some refreshing and make it, you know, rip. You had some fun at home with it. We had a whole track day. over there, drove it home, and
It's my instructor right now. He's my track instructor. My first day, so you know.
it was fun. It was fun.
Actually, that exhaust is one of the. When I first saw the car was when you got done the exhaust and we went to pick it up, and the sound of it alone and just the look of the way the back bumper's cut and everything shaved. That was already like the start that I said, damn, I really like that car.
It looks good, bro.
And I remember I said, when you guys finish the car, let me see it. Maybe I'm a buyer. And then we fast forward now, you know, do some things, and
Crazy.
here we are.
It's like 3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah, I'm really
3 years
happy
ago, it
with
never
the
got
car.
out of his head.
It did not, man.
Crazy.
I'm really happy that I got the car, and I'm so glad that you guys took
Thank you,
care of me,
bro.
man.
Oh, dude, I'm happy to sell it to you.
So if you want to buy a hot rod,
Only.
something that's you know, aggressive, something that's hardcore, but you can still drive it home from the track, I mean, RMC Miami are one of the guys that you want to talk to get that sauce.
The street
you know what I'm
track
saying?
specialist.
To get that sauce.
Yeah, man, for sure.
So that's it for the DRT 2024. I think this year was a complete change from all the other years because we had the mall of Sunset Place. So there was a lot of areas where they were able to put the cars in full display, most importantly in air conditioning, although we got blessed today with some type of weather in Miami that's not scorching heat. Thank God they did it in January. But overall, DRT is always part of my favorite events of the whole year. And thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, like and share it. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel.